whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. I'm attorney Gavin Richard. I grew up here in New Orleans, so I know how important family, friends, and community are to us. And helping others has been a lifelong passion of mine. If you've been injured in an accident, you may be out of work and faced with large medical bills. You'll need someone to fight the insurance companies so that you can get on with your life. Give me a call at 504-799-2288, and I'll be with you all the way. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. The place to be is right here with me. It is Random Topic Sundays, only on channel gboot2786 on Gavin Richard and on Periscope at GavinRich2786. If you are watching or tuning in, thank you for joining us tonight. We have a lot to discuss this evening, including R. Kelly's Kangaroo Court, the Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick's racist tirade on the woo-woo. And I know I spelled woo-woo wrong. And also, we're going to be talking and discussing about Sha'Carri Richardson's bad day at the office. Give 0 Fs. All right. So you guys sit back. The place to be is right here with me. If you are interested in donating to the channel, you see the link at the bottom right here. For a Cash App opportunity, the Cash App is Gavin Richard Esquire, as well as Google Pay, PayPal, and Zelle. Also, if you would like to advertise, again, as you saw in the commercial, we do advertisement opportunities. We also have our Patreon if you would like to contribute there as well. Shout out to those that have joined. We've put a lot of work in. I will have some comments about YouTube, and we will discuss all of that. So I'll get to that in a little bit. But advertisement opportunities, gavin.grich1@gmail.com. We're all about supporting our Black-owned businesses. And speaking of a Black-owned business, check out my seasoning company. If you have not visited the website, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. That's what our motto is. So what we will begin shortly. But of course, before we do all of that, as you all have requested, I need you all to check out and, of course, go to iTunes, Spotify, and Apple and download Got to Get On Up. Got to Get On Up. I also have a new single that'll be debuting soon, so I'm happy about that. You guys will probably enjoy it, and I'll talk about that later in the week. But, of course, let's get on up. Shout out to all those that have Got to Get On Up and like and enjoy the song. So we'll go ahead. Let me get this copyright strike for my own song, but we'll get started.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all time. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up, baby. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Got to get on up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents. Yeah, y'all check out the new single, and I got a new single that's gonna be coming out real soon. Actually, I'm excited about it. I'll just tell you what it's called now. It's entitled Video Soul. So you guys will like that as well. Something I self-composed by myself. So you'll enjoy it. You might and play it all through your house, probably with your video games, because and I write music the way I write it for everything, whether it's for music you can enjoy, stuff that may be in a commercial, something that may be in video games, which is big. A lot of people have not covered that market. We got to take, like I said, over all of this business, these opportunities that are given to us, because it is out there and it is possible. It's not impossible. Don't let anybody think or tell you can't make money or you can't profit from things that are going on right now in this country. We can. What's up, Derek Bailey, Cheryl Macy, Versatile, Computer Robots? You asked, how did I come up with the time to do the video presentation and advertisements? I just made the time for it. The law office advertisement you had, that's actually something I've had for a long time. When I did, I've had it for a while actually, and I I forgot when they sent this to me. We had to re-edit it because they forgot to add my Baton Rouge location because I'm also in Baton Rouge as well. But uh, I did that one earlier this year. I probably will rerun it. We ran it during the Judge Mathis, which was a big advertisement opportunity, big advertisement that we ran during Judge Mathis. It's a busy block during that time. So Judge Mathis, Jerry Springer, it means I have to put up a lot of bones. So that's another story. But I just make time to do it. The other thing I want to say, we'll get right into our topics in a little bit. I see one who cares who says she was dancing. Okay, Kid Gravity, Jaleel. What's up, Jaleel? Jaleel, what the hell with the WWE, man? Now y'all don't know this about me. Did anybody see the? I'm a wrestling fan. Um, I have not watched wrestling like consistently. I have not watched the WW. Let me be specific. I have not watched the WWF in a consistent format probably since the attitude aggression era. Like I would religiously, and I was a teenager then. I was young. I would religiously watch WWF. And when they had the Attitude Era with The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Mankind, Shawn Michaels, D-Generation X. I remember a porn. They had a porn star, a guy who was a gimmick. He was a porn star, Val Venus, that my brother loved. That was just classic stuff. Although that's when they got out of the PG era, like your prayers, your vitamins. Take your prayers, eat. No, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. Be a real American. Hulk Hogan. Training, yeah. They got rid of all of that, and when they had the Nitro Raw Wars, that's when wrestling was big, and it peaked. And unfortunately, now WWF is the only, although they're not the only ones. At this point because they got AEW, and they still have Impact Wrestling, but people have stopped watching it. But if you followed WWE SummerSlam last night, the sister who was the first black, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair were the first black females to headline WrestleMania, black American females to headline WrestleMania this year. And if anybody, I don't know if you saw what happened, but Becky Lynch, who is the Irish broad, the Irish star, this Irish broad that they have, who calls herself the Man, very popular. She comes out. She's been on maternity leave for over a year, and after a great match that Bianca Belair had with WrestleMania, and this is a rematch between her and Sasha Banks. Banks doesn't show up. Becky Lynch makes her return and squashes this sister in less than 20 seconds. 20 seconds. No, I have not met Judge Mathis or Jerry Springer, computer robots. So I don't watch. So she becomes a new SmackDown Women's Champion, by the way, after that, because Bianca was the champion. She beat Sasha Banks. All right. That is the exact reason why I have no intentions of watching WWE. AEW on Friday, they had, I can't obviously play any of this stuff because this is copywritten, although I can show you the article from Sports. Yeah, they're going to make them hate Becky. AEW is fresh, right? AEW with, even though they have some of the older stars there, Mark Henry has gone there, Big Show has gone on there, Paul White, although Mark doesn't wrestle. Sting is back. but she beats Bianca Belair in 20 seconds. And I get it why she's gone to SmackDown. Brand is that her husband, Seth Rollins, is in the SmackDown branch. And that's another thing. All of these different branches they got NXT, SmackDown, Raw, women's division. It's a joke. Things should just go back to where they were simple. You know, WCW, one of the reasons why WCW went south was when they did Thunder, although I liked it initially, but they had Monday Nitro, they had Thunder, then they had Saturday Night Wrestling. That's really when wrestling was huge, when WWF had Saturday Night Main Event on NBC back in the 80s with Vince McMahon and Jesse the Body Ventura were commenting. They were the commentators then. Right. I never forget what they did with Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed was my dude. First black intercontinental champion. Pearl River Plunge. The underhook power bomb. Yeah, that was a cool move. It's not exciting anymore. NXT is not exciting. Yeah, and let me show you. Let's see if we got Bianca Belair's picture. But this is what happened. I didn't even see who won between Goldberg and Lashley. But CM Punk came back to AEW at the United Center in Chicago. You know, he had a bad experience in the WWE, and was coming back out in AEW. I think it went south when the WWF changed its name from WWF to WWE. I saw Cena lost. Yeah, I remember my first event as a kid. I can remember when I was real little. I remember actually this had to have been either late 89 or early 1990. Ravishing Rick Rude and the Ultimate Warrior were battling each other in the ring. Rick Rude was shaking his pelvis in front of everybody, and Warrior hit him from behind. I distinctly remember. I remember when Macho Man and Hulk Hogan were feuding, the Mega Powers exploded. That was my first WrestleMania that I remember. I was 3. I can remember Roddy Piper hitting Morton Downey Jr. with a fire extinguisher blast. That was classic wrestling at that point. That's when wrestling had peaked. And nowadays, the excitement of it is not there anymore. And I'm hearing Vince may even sell WWF. I don't know, but you know, when you are the largest when you're the only major wrestling organization in the United States, you have no enemies, no opposition, no competition. It kills the business. They got some other independent stuff out there, of course, but those guys, how many of those guys you see on television that get promoted? The toys that toy lines that you see. WCW had that. Who did you meet at the airport? Butterflies. McMahon? Oh, you met Hogan and he was an asshole? Well, Hogan got caught saying all that racist shit. I hear Macho Man was this good guy. Rock, they say, is good. You know, I would listen to Scott Hall. He said Goldberg was an asshole because Goldberg wouldn't sign would not do an autograph for a 6 kid. I've heard about Warrior, of course. Warrior, they say nobody got along with him. A few people said they did, but Warrior's not here to defend himself. But a lot of people say bad stuff about you, and when you got a lot of that going on, bad news travels fast. Warrior. Remember when Warrior did that rant on Hogan? It's still on YouTube. Where he dissed Hogan about his hair plugs, him doing coke. Oh yeah, I was a Hulk Hogan fan as a kid. I had his poster and all, man. But he obviously wouldn't want me with his daughter Brooke, based off the shit he was saying in that rant. But you know what? I don't think anybody would want Brooke either. I wouldn't want it anyway. So ran into Victoria. I've seen up close in person. I've seen Scott Hall up close. He's big. Dude is huge. He's about 6'7". Now she wrestled. Victoria was in Impact Wrestling as well, right? She was one of the Godfather's hoes. That's how she got her start. But she was a bodybuilder too. All right. Okay, so I'm talking about that. That's enough for that. WWE. Yeah. You say at least yeah, you're talking about the squared circle. Was she nice? You've ever met her? Because she moved back to California, my understanding. She doesn't own that restaurant anymore. Yeah, that restaurant's closed. Okay. Oh, you talking about Tatanka? Butterflies. That's Tatanka from the 90s. Yeah, I remember Harlem Heat, and I remember when Stevie Ray Roslin was talked about how little black children looked up to Hogan and those guys. To Hogan, Ric Flair. I like Ric Flair, but I heard Ric Flair was racist. Teddy Long used to say, Teddy Long, if you go look at the shoot interviews he did, he talked about how Teddy Long, Ric Flair threatened him and said, "Nigga, you want to be in this business?" This was in the 70s, I guess 80s. I don't doubt he said that. Because Teddy Long, I think, started out as a manager. Even as, yeah. I love, look, you don't know, that's who people are in private. Their private personas are different from their public personas. And how somebody acts privately is going to be, it may be how someone acts publicly with the public is how they act completely different in private. Oh, I know Flair's a racist as well. Yeah, I saw Brock Lesnar coming back last night. I remember JYD. Give me them cakes. His song he used to come out to was Another One Bites the Dust. I remember Bad News Brown. I remember when they did the Nation of Domination in WWE. Farouk, Ron Simmons, he was actually the first black world heavyweight champion in wrestling at WCW. But I like Stevie Ray because Stevie Ray kept it real about Hogan and Flair. But he also said something interesting that Hulk Hogan gave him and Booker T their first big break when they were in WCW. He put them on. He said, like, Hogan, all the man did was hang around black Americans. Now, hanging out with black people, does that mean you necessarily like them? Well, not necessarily. You look at All in the Family. Archie Love had Lionel over all the time, but would always say low key shit about black people. He didn't want Lionel and his family living next door to him. Yeah, I remember the Benoit tragedy. I was into Benoit. I liked Benoit. I like Mongo. I liked Arn Anderson, all those guys. I remember when Piper came to WCW. I love Sting. The first match I watched for WCW pay-per-view event I can remember was the Starrcade '96 with Piper versus Hogan. And the biggest one they had before they went out of business was Hogan versus Sting and WCW at Starrcade. I remember Bret Hart came over to WCW by that time. Yeah, but you watch some of those clips, yeah. Greg the Hammer Valentine, yeah. Honky Tonk Man, all those guys. Yeah, you watch just those shoot interviews, you'll learn a lot, man. All right, but come on, we got to get started because I don't want to spend too much time. We'll be talking about that. No, I don't want to talk about the hate crimes bill. That's not what I was focused on. Which song should we start with? So, all right, I guess I'll just do this. Sha'Carri Richardson has a bad day at the office and gives zero fucks. Now, Sha'Carri is young. Sha'Carri is 21 years old. She has been through a lot. I get it. And she had, of course, she was not in the Olympics this year. She's the fastest woman in America, supposedly. And she was not in the Olympics this year because she was smoking the ganja. And of course, the ganja means something right now because she raced the Jamaicans. And remember, she was bragging, especially during the Olympics, about how you're going to miss me. Y'all miss me yet? She was all on Twitter bragging about it. And I try to be supportive of the sister, young sister, because she is young, but she's got a lot to learn. And she definitely has to get a PR person when she does these interviews. Because if you're trying to get paid doing advertisements, if you're trying to be a spokesperson for Nike, Nike has backed you. Remember, I'm pretty sure in Nike's contract agreement with you that you would have endorsements once you come out and you get yourself taken care of. I'm pretty sure they have moral clauses in those contracts. So she's got to play it cool. I don't want to see the sister messed up her money. That's the main point of anything that I have. That's the main reason why I'm doing this. So it's not about bashing no Jaleel, but the bottom line is she embarrassed. It was embarrassing how when you talk trash, you got to back it up. Ali could not, as great as Muhammad Ali was, if he talked all of that trash and was losing that fight, how do you think will we still call him the greatest if he lost all his fights? If he did not come through beating Sonny Liston, beating George Foreman, beating Joe Frazier in the Thriller in Manila, and sometimes predicting the rounds he would knock these dudes out. I don't think people are bashing her necessarily because, but there are some people. I saw Sotomayor dissing her, saying she looked like Rondo without the weave, things of that nature. I certainly wouldn't go that far. But when you're in the public eye, people will talk about you. people will say things. And Roly Poly said something. Well, he shouldn't be talking about appearances if he did. Beep, beep, beep. All that weave is too bad. Beep, 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 beep. I don't know what he said. But you got to bring it. I can't be a nice guy. If I'm performing stand-up comedy, nobody wants to know that I'm a nice guy and I work several jobs. If I'm not funny, then I can't perform any fucking more. I won't get invited. I won't get offers back. That's the way it is. People want to know if you're funny, if you go on stand-up stage, and people want to know what can you bring to the table. And Sha'Carri was talking trash, and clearly, when you talk trash, you got to back it up. And she didn't have let me see if I'm trying to play the video. And she didn't, she had a bad day at the office and gave 0 fucks. But I don't think people are bashing. It's just, look, when you're in the public eye, this is what happens. But she didn't do very good in a race. That's just the way it is. So I'm going to play the clip of the race. Hold on. This is the 100 meter. All right.
Women's 100. And to start the shenanigans, Fraser Price, Thompson Hurrah, Richardson being left behind, and out in front, the Olympic champion does it again.
Now, oh, that, let me show y'all that. We'll do with that. Of course, TV. Well, she didn't give any fucks about losing or anything like that because she was talking. I mean, here's the thing, too. We all can't be cheering on, and this is about monies and so forth. Y'all can disagree with me, but we can't be cheering on ratchet behavior either. You can be supportive and see that the sister does well, but somebody got to pull her to the side and tell her, yo, you need to watch yourself, because she didn't look like her mind was in it. And when you're in this business, when you're in the business of athletics and sports, where kids watch you, advertisers try to get you to be spokesperson for their products. If that's what you really want to do, then there is a certain way you have to protect and project yourself. So
Today to face these ladies from the Olympic Games.
Coming up today, it was a great return.
you know that the attention is on you.
I wanted to be able to come in before, having a month off, dealing with all I was dealing with. I'm not upsetting myself at all. This is one race. I'm not done. You know what I'm capable of. Count me out if you want to. Talk all the shit you want, because I'm here to stay. I'm not done. I'm the 6th fastest woman in this game ever. And can't nobody ever take that from me. Congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to the people that won. But they're not done seeing me yet.
That's Jamaican. That's the one that won. Now the Jamaican who came from behind, who was behind her laughing. That's the one who plays first.
I wanted to be able to come in before.
So look, I understand, Danielle. It's okay. Did she get off the throttle? I don't know if her head was there. She looked like she was running in Lug's boots, man. Well, one thing is for sure. I said this yesterday. We cannot blame the marijuana because she was racing the Jamaicans. All right, they smoking me ganja. They smoking ganja for real, man. It gave no advantage. Yeah, but the sister needs a PR team. Sha'Carri needs a PR team because this is not how you project yourself when you're trying to make a living in this business. And I don't know if Donald says she is done. Believe me, time will tell, which is history. Yeah, she certainly, I think, needs to eat some humble pie a little bit on this one. She didn't perform great, and that happens. It happens because everybody doesn't. You're not perfect at your job where you work at. Whatever you guys do, I'm pretty sure that you guys have a bad day at the office, and it's a part of life. You're going to make mistakes. She's young. She's 21 years old, but you're trying to make money in this business. You want to be in commercials. You want to do a deal with Nike. You know, they can reject that at any moment. But I'm tired. I got to say this as black people because we talk about staying on code. We talk about doing, looking out for each other, staying on code, not disrespecting each other in front of mixed company. But some people aren't worth saving. There are some times where some people aren't worth saving. We have to look at that. We also have to look at some people need to learn on their own. And some things we can't condone. They got a lot of people that support just ratchetness. And I'm glad that the sister believes in herself. You're supposed to. I know, like I say again, she's gone through a lot. I'm trying to take it easy on her. I really do. I really want to. I'm not. She's 20, but hey, this is part of it. When you're in the public eye, people will critique everything you do. And she tweeted this out. She said, I wish the people, this was funny. You know, I mean, let's be real. Sha'Carri, she's tatted up. She got all that weave and stuff. But Flojo used to go out. Of course, she was real flamboyant in terms of her dress. Flojo was cute, but Flojo broke records. She brought it. And Sha'Carri, though, she tweeted this. She said, I wish the people that talk mess about me was cute at least. And some people like what she said, some people didn't. Girl, are you practicing? Because it's going to be hard for me to fight these trolls back if you're in third place. I'm running out of arguments against people telling you to be humble. She has a point. This dude, Jamaican said, yo, the race started and finished and we didn't see you. What's up with that? Oh, gosh. I mean, look at the Jamaicans. Look at Daniel. Do you know who nobody really talked about who was the real GOAT, who was impressive during the Olympics? Allison Felix. Allison Felix. Allison Felix was a GOAT. More gold medals in track and field than any breaking Carl Lewis's record. And she's not a single mother. She is a married woman, married to her husband, father of her child. And she did that in her 30s. We didn't talk about that. And look, I'm not going to sit up here and say I could beat Sha'Carri. Somebody actually said this and said, now I know they're talking crazy. Because she responded to this where she was asked, somebody tweeted, I feel I could have beat Sha'Carri and all. Yes. And Sha'Carri said, I'll triple your whole year's salary if you can. So she doesn't care. And I'm going to play something. This was yesterday. So she did a press conference, I believe. I don't know when this was, but if it was after the race?
I've been doing what I was doing before the game situation happened, training, doing it is that me, my coach, my support system been doing, knowing to do, and this is nothing new. We're just back
Is
on
that
track
Bruce
now.
Jenner? Bruce Caitlin?
Training's gone well. You're happy
Bruce
where you
Lynn.
would be, whether you
That photo right there, I don't know.
Yeah, it's training has been going well, but regardless of the situation, I have no complaints. My talent has not went anywhere, so just ready to get back on the track.
Yeah, and you love competition, and this brings all that competition right to your doorstep. So just talk about just having that motivation of knowing you're going to have these women to line up against tomorrow.
Okay, so this was this was before the
lining up against
race.
These women.
Now you see all of the Nike. You see the Nike logos in the back. Omega, World Athletics, Hayward Field.
Honored to just be on the stage with them, but I'm not starstruck.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was doing before.
This is what I'm talking about. You're out in the public. You just got to know, you got to have a PR team. She's got to have a PR team with her. She's got to have somebody, whether it's family, whether it's friends or mentors or coaches that could be there with her. Because, look, Ali even had people around him that helped him out. He didn't get there by himself. Same thing with Jim Brown. Same thing with, in the field of entertainment. It's not about what you know, it's who you know. But they all had people that looked out for them. Like even with LeVar Ball, I like what he has done. LeVar Ball's children with his sons. All of his sons are in the NBA. They're professionals. Whether you complain about how he talks about his kids and brags on them, well, a father is supposed to do that. A dad is supposed to do that. But there were moments where I was like, I wish this nigga would shut up. Hey, I'll pull him to the side. Yo, brother, look, we got to talk here. Look, you need to just chill out a little bit. Let your son do this. And that's a good point, too. Would she listen to advice? Well, that's on her at that point. One who cares. That's on her if she'll listen to advice. If she can take it like the old saying is, take it with a grain of salt. If I come to you and I'm offering you some advice on something, sorry about that. Yeah, if I offer you some advice on something, you can take it or leave it. That's happened with me. That's happened in my practice. So yeah, time will tell what happens, but we got to stop condoning ratchetness, guys. I'm sorry. We got to stop condoning ratchetness because she's been doing some ratchet stuff. I can't support all, like the sister was saying, I'm running out of the offenses for you. Some stuff we can't defend. Some stuff we got to scratch our head with. But I wish her the best. I want to see her succeed. I want to see her make her money. And that's the goal. Make your money, queen. Make your money, sister. Speaking of Africa, I know we don't like TMZ, but I got to go to this because did y'all see this fight? So I don't know the backstory behind it, but this was during a preseason game. Hold on. I have seen this trending. I saw it on Facebook, and I don't want to talk. I don't have a banner for it. I saw this. I want y'all to see this video. Have you seen this? Now, this happened at the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Detroit Lions preseason game, I believe on Saturday, which was yesterday. And this white girl got into this brother's face. And this happened. Night, night. Now she got in his face. I'm gonna do what the white supremacists do. I'm gonna do what white folks do. Oh, well, I gotta wait and see what the rest of the evidence is because I heard I was in the gym when somebody was playing this, and this white boy behind me on the treadmill, I could hear him say, "Oh no, he hit her first." I said to myself, "Well, let's wait and see all the evidence. We don't know what happened." Oh yeah, I'm doing what they do. So she tells him to get the fuck out. I don't know what escalated it. I've been to these games. If you've been to the NFL games, guys, look, there's a lot of people that are drinking beer, alcohol. A lot goes on there. People that don't want to talk to you, people that are rude, people are loud. There's a lot going on at these games that happens. And I don't know exactly what it was, but if he says that white boy said something, the white girl said something, whatever happened, I'm going to finish playing the video. But she gets in his face and he says, and she puts it looked like she put her fingers on his chest and he removes her hand and says, "Don't touch me," which is that point she slapped him. And this is what you saw.
Yeah, she slapped him in his face.
And you can hear him saying that. Now they're more worried about kicking him out than they are the white boy and white couple that actually instigated. So he's trying to say, "Hey, get away from me. You're in my space." Yeah, y'all see that.
She did it first. Somebody get his glasses.
Now, that's the type of stuff that happens. I don't know what this is, but
Yep. Yep.
Saw you in that whore's face.
Oh, he threw her to go. What? He threw her to go. Why?
what
Every
the hell
time
is this?
Oh.
Something. I was trying to see the rest of it.
Shit.
Whack 100 fights off 2 white men after Apotek.
Oh, drop me.
Thought I saw this already.
Oh.
Man, he looked like Earthquake.
Hey, damn.
I can't go property taxes again. Y'all got that up there. You're gonna back the ball, you know. Straight up. And you don't tell them to back the ball. You don't tell me to go nowhere.
Okay, man. Jones had a fight.
It's Al gonna pick it up.
What's up? No. Fuck you, man. That shit great. Let me go. Let me go.
Shit. That was Pac-Man Jones fighting. They just start playing stuff automatically. But yeah, wow. I was all into it. But yeah, but these women, these Karens that they have out there, these Karens and Sharons and Kens they have out there that start these fights, guys, you got to play cool. Honestly, now, notice with all of this pandemic stuff that's going on, they actually have these people out there in the stands without masks, without, any sort of social distancing. But they're but they're talking about how bad the pandemic is with this Delta variant. And they're allowing our children to be out here going to school with all of this stuff going on. That's another thing I find hypocritical about these games. But I don't know too much about that story. If you guys got more information, please share it. I need to tell you all, I'm going to talk about YouTube later today because I got some issues that we're going to have to discuss. And of course, it's not the first time I've had to say something about it. But, YouTube, I'll get to it a little bit later. So just remind me before we close out the show. I'm going to try and remind myself. But let's move on because we got to get a couple of things out. So the lieutenant governor of Texas, Dan Patrick, not the writer, not the guy from NBC Sports, he made some comments about the woo-woo regarding Black Americans in Texas. And he has been widely criticized for these comments, but this is coming from the AP. He actually said the following. So Dan Patrick, who's the lieutenant governor of Texas, Republican lieutenant governor, blamed rising hospitalization and death rates from COVID-19 on unvaccinated Black people. Patrick made the remarks Thursday night on a Fox News segment in response to a question about the latest coronavirus surge in Texas. The state is seeing its highest hospitalization rates since January as the highly contagious Delta variant spreads. The biggest group in most states are African Americans who have not been vaccinated, Patrick said. Patrick did not change course Friday, saying Democratic social media trolls misstated facts and that he had used state data in his assertions. His office did not respond to a request for additional comments. But statistics from the Texas Department of State Health Services don't back that. Black people who make up only 12% of the more than 29 million people in Texas accounted for about 15% of the total COVID-19 cases and just more than 10% of deaths. Patrick also told Fox News that Democrats were to blame for low vaccination rates among Black people who frequently support the party, even though he believes Republicans should persuade more people to get their shots too. But he tiptoed around the issue, which has been sensitive for the GOP. But we respect the fact that if people don't want the vaccination, we're not going to force it on them. That's their individual right. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner said on Twitter, the lieutenant governor's statements are offensive and should not be ignored. Rodney Ellis, a Black commissioner for the county that encompasses Houston, tweeted that Patrick's comments were racist and flat out wrong. It's disappointing that lieutenant governor would rather scapegoat black people than do the right thing and work with local government to help control the spread of COVID-19. Now, they cite here historic failures and abuses on behalf of government, such as the Tuskegee syphilis study, in which unsuspecting black men were used as guinea pigs in a study of a sexually transmitted disease, have led to mistrust in public institutions for many African Americans. Of course, it has. I'm going to finish reading, but they say overall, I'm going to go back and read and talk about this. 44% of Texans are fully vaccinated, less than the national rate of about 50%. COVID-19 is blamed for more than 50,000 deaths in the state and more than 600,000 across the United States. Now, this is from the AP. Here's the thing, too. We have to look at this. There are at least 13% of Black Americans who live in the United States. And if you're saying that 350 million Americans, well, or undocumented, we'll just say people, because we know that there are illegals and there are undocumented people that are here that they're giving benefits to. But nevertheless, 350 million, if you're talking about 12 or 13% of 350 million, that's only roughly 40 to 43, between 40 and 45 million Black Americans that live in the United States. And we do not make up the majority in this country. And if you saw the recent census information, of course, they are stating that the white population, at least the Anglo-white population, is decreasing. And there has been an influx now, of course, by the year 2040, America will no longer be a predominantly white nation. However, it will still have white supremacy, in my opinion, because you have white American, Hispanic or Latinos who identify with Caucasian culture, Caucasian, as Caucasian culture, of course, that Anglo-American, the blue blood ideology that exists. They identify with that, as do Asians and Asian Americans. Asian Americans 50 years from now will outnumber blacks. You see what's happening now. If you saw Professor Black Truth, I'm sorry, I keep saying Professor Black Truth. If you saw Jason Black's The Black Authority channel yesterday, he talked about how the latest news with regards to the crisis in Afghanistan, how the Afghans are actually coming into the United States, those refugees out in Virginia, on the East Coast, and eventually they're going to be given some benefits, I'm sure, and set up shop in the Black community. Now, this is, I want to show you, because I'm going to pull this up. This is a breakdown. I had actually a better one on my other laptop, and I should have just bookmarked it, but I didn't. But this is another one I found. What percentage of COVID-19 vaccines has Texas administered? This is coming from usafacts.org. Their overall 45%, which is roughly 13,295,620 people, have been fully vaccinated. 16 million, roughly, or 55% of the state, has received at least one dose. Now, this is what they have here. Now, I put in compare states. So if we compare Texas to up to 3 states, let's compare my home state, Louisiana, if it's on here. It's partial data. Let's put Alabama. Okay. Let's do California. Okay, so this is Louisiana's data. I believe we're like the 5th lowest, if I'm not mistaken. But you roughly, I'm looking at this. So 42% of the black population have received at least one dose. Fully vaccinated is about 34%. Let's look at Texas. So comparing that with Texas, we got 36%, 29.5, 36% received roughly one dose, fully vaccinated received. Fully vaccinated are about 29%. So one dose, 36, fully is 29. Whites, 40.2%, fully vaccinated, but 46% vaccinated. And you see Alabama there, you compare them. But he's blaming the lower numbers on Black Americans. Now, the problem with that is that, as I stated before, when you look at the population, you have to look at the population of blacks in Texas compared to, they probably got him on the shadow ban, but I was watching Jason Black's channel, The Black Authority, and he was talking about the influx of immigrants in here. No, you can't sue him for that, butterflies. Free speech. You can call him a dickhead for that. But like I was saying, the problem with these comments, and his comments distinctly, is that he targeted our community. He targeted Black people specifically by making these remarks. And it has been the fault of government with regards to this vaccine. I have to be careful with my words because, of course, my channel could be dropped for disinformation, but I was showing you the article where you could go look this stuff up. But the reason why those numbers are low, he doesn't address the real issue, which is first and foremost, there's disparity in our communities with regards to healthcare. Maybe getting access to the vaccine had something to do with it, more than people not wanting to take it, although a lot of people don't want to take it. I know white folks who haven't taken it. There are whites who didn't take it. So he made a blanket statement about Black people being the cause for the rise of COVID. Well, let's also look at it this way too. When you talk about COVID-19, a vaccine, the woo-woo, my understanding, can be transferred from the new information that has come out in the news that I have read, whether you are vaccinated or, whether you have gotten the Whoompa or you have not gotten the Whoompa, the woo-woo can still be transmitted. Because from understanding virology, my understanding is that a virus like sexually transmitted, it's like, I don't want to conflate it because then they're going to say medical misinformation. So I have to stop and be careful with my words. But viruses do shed. That I do know. That happens. Like my father, who's a pharmacist, he has studied injections before. You've seen my dad come on. He and my mother, who work in the medical field, they have knowledge about what viruses do. And so you guys, especially in Texas, you're the same Texas that's been fighting with the schools over mask mandates with the respective mayors. You've allowed large events. I remember the same governor, Tales from the Crypt, who actually wanted, I'm talking about the governor, Greg Abbott, who refused to keep the cities on lockdowns again. And even though they were recommended, he was like he wasn't honoring it. What do you think was going to happen? So you put this on us. You put this on the Black people in Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio. And you guys are this is the same country right now This is the same country right now where we have a government. Our president has initiated an open door policy. You guys aren't screening those illegal immigrants that come in here for COVID. Let's be real. They even I've seen videos of it. They're not even doing that properly. They're going in different cities and just setting up shop. I've seen, and another thing too, you're absolutely right, Butterflies, because there are people who have religious beliefs, legitimate religious beliefs, or even medical issues as to why they wouldn't get vaccinated. That does happen. You know, a perfect example, although it's not the same thing, Bob Marley, the legendary reggae singer, Bob Marley refused to have his toes amputated when he developed cancer, even though it could have saved his life. And the reason why was because as a Rastafarian, he did not believe in amputating or cutting any part of your body. That was against the code of the Rastafari, their beliefs. Same thing in Jehovah's Witnesses. If you get in a car accident and the only way you can save their life is by giving a blood transfusion, they do not believe in that. They do not believe in blood transfusions. Well, what we need to do is go to the governor's capital and demand that this man resign. I'll flip him 1,000 birds, piss him off as much as you can. But you guys, we're not even the majority. You're not the majority in, realistically, we're not the majority in the states. So he's not going to be, realistically, he will not be recalled. Just like we're not the majority in any state. We're majorities in cities, in our local municipalities. But we're not the majority in these major states. Frankly, he needs to be called out on his bullshit. For sure. And let's be real. They likely could have prevented all of this, again, if they had kept the schools on virtual. I don't understand how, if you're talking about, as I had my brother Sean James on, if you're so scared about this virus and it mutating, why are you allowing children to go into these schools maskless, without masks? The schools, like my my girlfriend who's a teacher, I can tell she's concerned because you got these rising numbers. She's had to go back to school teaching these kids, and it's not they have no virtual learning. You got rising COVID numbers. You're talking about Delta variant is coming. Now I heard a Lambda variant is coming. Pretty soon there's going to be, I think the Omega Mu variant is going to come. That's a Revenge of the Nerds joke. You'll get that later. But all of that stuff that's going on, you have done nothing about it. You keep the schools open. This is your leadership. So maybe the reason why nobody has gotten vaccinated, or at least gotten fully vaccinated, or are skeptical of government, is because you guys at the top aren't doing your job correctly. So Lieutenant Governor Patrick, take a look in the mirror, a long, hard look in the mirror, check under your arms, or wipe your ass, because you smell like bullshit right now. That's what I got to say about that. All right. Let me just say and clarify, for purposes and use, Copyright Act, Fair Use Act of 1976, I've shown some videos that I do not own the rights to. However, they all qualify for fair use. The Fair Use Act section of 1976 and they are used for purposes of commentary, news, uh, criticism, etc. Purposes only. So I don't own the rights to it, but it's fair use. Fair use. 1976. So I have to say that because I've shown some videos previously, and I'm going to show a video now, courtesy of CBS. Now, this court, of course, is concerning R. Kelly. Now, I know there are people on here and people that may be watching that are, when we talk about R. Kelly, is a very sensitive topic because it involves children and what he's accused of, and people get emotional. But here's the thing. We have laws in this country. We have rules in this country. And regardless of what you're accused of, you're innocent until proven guilty. And people may not like that, but that is the law. The law is the only thing that separates us from the animals. And I may not like R. Kelly as a person, but I cannot sit back and look at what is going on in that court. Allegedly. I got to say allegedly because I don't want to get into trouble. But a lot of people have been sending me, someone sent me something about R. Kelly and what was going on. And I had a chance to look at some of the stuff. And I am an attorney. And as an attorney, this case that is going on in federal court, I cannot understand how they were able to get it in federal court. I know legally how they did it or what their strategy was, but I don't see how this could be personally allowed. Now, again, this is not me defending R. Kelly, and some people will get upset about it, but he is being charged. I told you this before with a racketeering case in federal court in New York. So what they're accusing him of is running a criminal enterprise that for decades, as it says here, coming from the Chicago Tribune, used his celebrity, his musical talents to enslave and abuse girls, produce child pornography, and satisfy his sexual urges. And last Thursday or Friday, his personal doctor testified as the trial went on that his personal doctor actually testified on the stand that R. Kelly has herpes. R. Kelly has herpes and Usher supposedly has herpes. So, and he was diagnosed back in 2007. So they all, it's true that they were messing with the same girl. Hey, they made great music. The judge, Ann Donnelly, she's the district court judge of the Eastern District of New York. The prosecutors, Elizabeth Geddes, Maria Melendez, Nadia Shihada. Now notice with this, guys, these are all women. So she questioned the doctor, Nadia Shihada, is there any doubt in your mind that the defendant had genital herpes? Now, there is something called doctor-patient confidentiality. And let me also be clear, because I got to do this as well. I have to say this as well, because I am not licensed in the state of New York or anything, but just from a general rule, the views and commentary from a legal perspective, this is the disclaimer. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm giving, and any advice that I give or information I give, while I am an attorney, does not constitute as legal advice for anybody. These are just my opinions based off of the facts and the facts alone. What's up, Tyree? Well, that may be an issue, not in the New York case, but maybe in Illinois. But double jeopardy only applies for crimes that you can't be tried for the same offense or like crimes of that same nature. So if I was acquitted for first-degree murder, I was found not guilty on first degree. I'm sorry, let me start over. If I was found acquitted for second-degree murder and manslaughter, I'm saying it wrong. Oh, sorry. You can be charged for lesser offenses, but not the greater offense. So if I was acquitted on first-degree murder charges and I was acquitted on manslaughter charges, you can't try and bring me back on a second-degree murder charge. You can try me if I'm accused of attempted murder of a victim and that victim is still alive. I can't be charged with if she's is not dead. I can't be charged if she's not dead. Now, say for instance, you shoot a victim, you get charged with attempted murder. That victim is laying in a coma in a hospital, and let's say I get acquitted. Eventually, I get acquitted for that. Well, let's say that the victim dies. We know from the information that she died from the bullet you fired. Well, at that point, I could get charged with her murder, but not the other way around. You say it's definitely a freak show. Yeah, so just looking at this, these are all, so this is all women. So it doesn't surprise me that they came up with this, but they're asking questions. This was Thursday. I told you all when I came on Thursday with Sean, Geronda Pace testified. So then after she tested, and she's talking about how R. Kelly made her dress up as a Girl Scout in pigtails. And Pace was the one who was walking with R. Kelly back in his 2008 criminal trial. She was outside the Lexington courtroom beaming, leaning around him as if trying to catch his eye. And he was displaying photos. Now, she was cross-examined by Kelly's attorney, Devereaux Canick. And they say she maintained the same composure. She didn't get upset or make any outbursts. She did nothing like Janice Dickerson at Bill Cosby's case. And so this goes in deep. If you read the Chicago Tribune article, I got to get to the video, but this is crazy. Now, according to this, so they cross-examined her. The prosecutors got a chance to redirect and talked about how Pace had her read from her journal an entry about a final alleged encounter that she broke down and began crying, saying, "I went to Rob's house and Rob called me silly. He called me a silly bitch," she read. "Rob slapped me 3 times and said if I lie to him again, it's not going to be an open hand next time." So I'm going to play the video in a second though from R. Kelly's attorney, Steve Greenberg. He withdrew from this case out in New York over differences with the 2 other attorneys that were there. Their names are respectively why they don't have their names put up here? Nicole Blank Becker, Devereaux Canick, and Thomas Farinella. And you can go here to this website, go to the Chicago Tribune. It's much more detailed. I'm going to leave it there, links for you guys to look at, because it goes in detail. But look at this. So she gets cross-examined again. And Koenig had her confirm on cross-examination that she lied about her age twice. Now, this is interesting. They also say that it's been alleged that she had written she wrote the journal entry at the direction of her civil lawyers. She had previously testified that she contacted the attorney she went to press charges. She wanted to press charges, but they advised her against doing so. Koenig had her confirm she lied about her age twice, first during the 2008 criminal case, when she told court officials she was 18. So that's how she was able to get into the courthouse. And then again, during her first sexual encounter with Kelly online, when she told him she was 19. She reiterated on cross-examination that she first told Kelly her true age after he performed a sex act on her, and she became uncomfortable. The same thing she had told prosecutors during her direct testimony a day earlier. But you were not so uncomfortable with the situation that you said, "Hell no, I'm not taking off my clothes. I'm going home," Koenig said. Pace said that is correct. Now, here's what's interesting. Pace also read a settlement agreement. So there was a settlement agreement reached with Kelly in which the singer denied all wrongdoing and maintained that she showed him an ID proving she was 19. Bringing up the settlement could perhaps be a way to get Kelly's side of the story in front of jurors without having to put him on the witness stand. And Pace testified, even after getting lawyers and reaching settlement agreements, she still wanted to have a relationship with Kelly. You wanted to be his best friend, Koenig said. Get the relationship back in gear again. That's correct, Pace said. So this lady, she's 29 years old, and I get she was young at the time, allegedly or apparently still wanted to have relations with R. Kelly after all this stuff was going on. So his doctor, Chris McGrath, testifies that Kelly was diagnosed with herpes and has a prescription medication for him. And they're trying to get him, and this is where the video is going to come in. They're alleging he had sex with 3 women without disclosing that he had a sexually transmitted disease, which is illegal in states where you fail to disclose this medical information to your sexual partners, you act with a depraved heart. It's just like if you have sex with women, multiple partners, and you had AIDS. Like what they didn't get Charlie Sheen on that, but Charlie Sheen was accused, allegedly was having sex with all of these women, his goddesses, and he had AIDS, right? But you don't see Charlie Sheen being prosecuted or rammed through the media like that. In fact, he got praised for a lot of his debauchery and his behavior. He was awarded had a TV show. I like Charlie, but that's a different story. I'm gonna move on, but I want to play this video right quick. This is from CBS, and guess who makes an appearance, guys? It's none other than your girl. I won't give it away.
And here in New York, opening statements begin this morning in R. Kelly's federal trial. The R&B singer is charged with racketeering for the alleged sexual exploitation of children and a series of other counts related to...
Now, this, y'all pay attention now. I'm going to play the video again, but please pay attention to what R. Kelly's attorney, Steve Greenberg, has to say in this.
Legal sexual activity. R. Kelly denies all those charges. Attorney Steve Greenberg has represented R. Kelly since 2018. He left the defense team here in New York last month over disagreements with 2 other lawyers on the team, but he still represents Kelly in Illinois and Minnesota. And he joins us only on CBS this morning. Mr. Greenberg, good morning. I guess we should begin with your expectations for the opening remarks at trial today, with the bigger understanding that this is a legal team you're no longer part of.
Right. Well, I think what they have to do in opening statements today is just convince the jurors that R. Kelly is not the monster that the public has come to think that he is. The government, I expect, is going to have a very detailed opening. They're going to present all sorts of stories that these women they suppose are going to tell, they allege are going to tell. But then what the defense has to do is they have to humanize R. Kelly. They have to tell the jurors how this is someone who started out singing in subways and really as a celebrity, he just sort of lived his life and made his music. What people are going to find out is that the sort of the moral view that we all have and kind of the Me Too movement has changed the way we looked at things. But in the moment things were happening, we didn't look at them that way and they weren't illegal.
So is the argument going to be that these women are lying, or that what the women are alleging may be disagreeable and true, but it's not a crime?
Well, I think it's going to be a combination of all of that. I think that some of the women are just out and out lying. I think that some of the women are exaggerating. I think that some of the women are perhaps telling the truth about what happened, but it's just not a crime. What the government has done here is they've used the RICO statute, which really is intended to prosecute gangs and mobsters, and they're trying to prosecute an individual for a bunch of acts where the statute of limitations has expired, or they were minor acts and they've sort of blown them out of proportion by using this RICO law. In my opinion.
Okay, let me stop right there. Tyree said Steve Greenberg appears to be incompetent. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, I don't think Mr. Greenberg, I don't know enough about Greenberg that he, as to his competency. What I can tell you, if you go on avo.com and look up Steve Greenberg as a lawyer, he actually has been practicing law in the Illinois area for over 30 years. I've tried to actually get him to come on my channel. I'm still trying to reach out to Steve. I have his contact information and stuff, but he hasn't reached back out to me. But he's 61 years old. He's been practicing law for 31 years. He's done high-collar crimes. He was considered one of the top 10 for over 30 years. That's basically when you're on Avo or you're on some of these legal lawyer websites. Eventually, if you pay enough money to those memberships and stuff, as well as you can be nominated and looked at as a super lawyer if you get more traffic to your business. So he's got a rating of 4.5 stars, a 7 out of 7 reviews. He's been licensed for 34 years. So I wouldn't say he is incompetent. But I don't know much about him other than him representing R. Kelly. So he's still representing R. Kelly. He didn't withdraw from the case from R. Kelly's as his attorney, except for in this case. So he's handling, obviously, the charges in different states, as you heard, from Illinois and Minnesota. So let's finish seeing what he has to say. But what he's saying, though, too, I got to address this part, and this is why I mainly paused it, is when he's talking about RICO, let me come in. What he's talking about with the RICO statute, that's actually correct. RICO, which was the federal racketeering statute, was actually used to go after the mafia. That's why it was created. The Racketeering Influence and Corruption Organizations Act is a United States federal law that was enacted in the 70s, October 15th, 1970. And the mafia, of course, had their hands in every major union you could think of, from the Teamsters Union to what's some other unions that you have. But the Teamsters was one thing. They had their hands, obviously, with the police, because a lot of police officers, we gotta be real, they want to take in different cities. That stuff happened, these unions, police unions, and so forth, and businesses, and they were making monies off of these people, off of various businesses. The reason why, but hey, they got Las Vegas started. The Teamsters Union Pension Fund, if you watch the movie The Irishman, You saw how banks were not giving out monies to these casinos to redevelop or develop their properties. So they would go to Jimmy Hoffa, who was the president of the Teamsters at that time, and he would okay giving them the money, or he would say no. He actually had enough chutzpah, as they could say. I'm sorry, guys. I just got some. Let me continue. I just looking at some news, so I get text messages. So I got some bad news. Excuse me.
And yet it's just a
But yeah, but that's why the RICO statute was created. It was about the mafia. It had nothing to do with giving a woman herpes and sex empires. But they've tried to find a way to do it. And Greenberg is going to explain to you in a second why the feds, why the government actually got venue, how they got venue under this statute in the first place in New York, how this case came about with regards to that. So I'm going to finish letting the video play.
complete perversion of the intent of the RICO law.
So when you talk about sweeping up these minor acts into the bigger crime under the RICO law, what are you considering to be a minor act? What would the defense be willing to concede as true to try to get R. Kelly off in this case?
Well, I think the one that everyone's heard about the most is an allegation that he gave people herpes, which actually is not what the law says. The New York prosecutors are using a New York state law, and that's the only reason the case is actually in New York. That's how they get what we call venue. And they're using that misdemeanor law that no one's ever been prosecuted against to try and get a foothold in New York on a felony case. When a prosecutor has to get truly creative, as they have in this case, then that's probably not what the law was intended to punish or prohibit.
What do you say, Steve, to people
There
that
she
say,
is. Oh, yes. I don't know who the man was. Some jerk off. He seemed a little. Y'all see, these people are real arrogant. And keep in mind, these reporters, like Stale King and whoever that little jerk is, these are not lawyers. That's the thing. They're not attorneys. You're not dealing with the jerk like you had with Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo was actually a prosecutor. But yes, this is Stale King. The funky dog headed, you know what? Snoop can't call. Y'all gonna see in a little bit what happens with this. Them red glasses on a broke ass Sally Jesse Raphael. Look at her. Y'all remember Sally back in the day? She has the red glasses like her. Stale Kale. I'm gonna finish playing the video, but what he's saying is absolutely right. So they try to use the state law to get jurisdiction or venue on the herpes allegation into court. That's why it's in New York, according to Greenberg, supposedly. That's how they were able to get this in. And watch how Gail ask these questions to the Greenberg.
listen, there have been rumors for years about R. Kelly abusing women and certainly young girls. What do you say when you say the defense has to humanize him or even show that R. Kelly is a victim? How can they do that when so many of these women and young girls are telling the same stories who have no ties to each other? They can't all be lying, can they?
Well, and everyone in a criminal case, people don't all have to be lying for a defendant to prevail in a criminal case. What's abuse, Gail? That's really what this comes down to. So you've got different categories of offenses here. You've got alleged minor victims, some of which I think you're going to find out lied about their age, their families lied about their age, and they really tried to capitalize on R. Kelly and extort him for money. And then you've got other things which they've alleged, like he wanted people to call him daddy. Now, how is that any different from me saying, I want to be called honey or sweetheart? Maybe it's a different word, but it's still the same concept. So
Steve,
what is
there's such a
abuse?
difference between being
There
called
she
daddy
goes.
and being called sweetheart and honey in the context that these girls were saying.
Oh, still. Okay, look. Let me be clear again. I know they got some sensitive Negroes out there who may think I'm taking up for R. Kelly. Let me just clarify, this is not. But Steve has a great point, and what he's saying is absolutely correct. The law is not based, something may be morally wrong, but if it is not illegal in the law, I cannot prosecute a person for that. Lying in and of itself is immoral and it is wrong, but it does not amount to a crime. Although, yes, we have laws against perjury. You know, you testify under oath, you give false information, that is a crime. Lying, that is where lying is a crime. Committing adultery would be is a even far better example where if I cheat on my wife, that in and of itself may be immoral, but not illegal, although it would be grounds for in family court for divorce. But it is not something, although I think one state they do have adultery as a crime, but they have decriminalized adultery in the last 100 years. You know, back in the 20th century, especially the latter part of the 20th century. With regards to the daddy comment, okay, you see how Gail is trying to come on, interrupting Steve, trying to take up for the victim. Now, this is not what victims, alleged victims, now, this is not what a journalist is supposed to do. But what she's doing is smart because she is a talking piece. This is similar to what she did with what she did with regards to Kobe when she asked Lisa Leslie about the accusations on Kobe. And Lisa gave an answer and said, what did she say? She said, I never saw that side of him. So which Gail says, well, Lisa, you wouldn't see it. I'm paraphrasing, but that was along the lines of what she said. And yes, you're right, Julie. I was going to get to that. Monique calls her husband daddy. I know from old school, back in the day, you know, they used to say, dad, you know, mother, a husband would actually call, some white people would do it, but maybe some blacks, a few blacks would say, hey, mother, talking to his wife. Yes, father. That has been done before. Now, the fact that he allegedly likes these girls to call him daddy, well, I think that's some sick shit, or I don't care for that. That's not my cup of tea. That does not prove, does that in of itself prove that he committed a crime? That in and of itself is not criminal. There's no law that says somebody can call you out of your name or somebody can call you daddy. Requesting to be called daddy may be weird, but that's not illegal. Michael Jackson can invite children over into his house. He has them sleep in the same room. My understanding, he didn't sleep in the same bed, but when people heard him talk about how he shares his bed with a child, with children, and that was okay. And what he was talking about, he was letting his kids sleep in his room. While that may be unorthodox, in and of itself didn't prove criminal behavior. That's a good point. She didn't say shit about Andrew Cuomo, did she?
That they were kept locked in rooms.
These are grown, Gail, these are grown, no, these are not kept locked in rooms. These are grown women, for the most part, who made a choice to be with an individual who was a celebrity. When they talk about being in a locked room, they would go to the studio, they would be told, wait in this room, someone will come and get you. There's no chains, there's no hooks in the floor like we supposedly heard about in that so-called documentary. There's none of that. If I go to visit somebody at a police station, I get put in a room and told I can't leave the room. If you go to certain places, you get told to wait in the room. These women waited sometimes 3, 4, 5 hours while he was recording music, but that's not being locked in a room forever and held days on end like you see in some of these sex slave kind of cases. These were not
they have a
sex
different
slaves
version
by any
to your
stretch.
characterization.
Yeah, they do.
Well, and that's why we have trials.
Yeah,
That's why we
I
have
hear you.
trials. That's why we have cross-examination, and that's why we should all keep an open mind until the end.
So you're saying mental abuse, if that's what it is, isn't a crime.
Well, mental abuse isn't a crime. That's absolutely correct. So what's happened here is we've got the Me Too movement, and so we look at something and we say, well, this was abuse. But is it against the law? That's really what you have to do. And that's what they have to do in opening statement today, is get that across to the jurors that there's a difference between what's morally incorrect or Me Too incorrect and what's legally incorrect.
Steve, you were there that day we did the interview with R. Kelly, and I'm curious about your characterization of that. And the reason why I'm asking you specifically is because later R. Kelly was said to me, or sent word to me, that he was thanking me for giving him the platform to express himself because we got to see, he says, his passion and his pain. Do you think that interview hurt or helped him?
I think to some people it helped and to some people it hurt. If R. Kelly had sat there with you perfectly stoic, everyone would have said he doesn't feel bad about anything. He's got no emotion. He's got no feeling. He got very upset during that interview. That was very real. That was how he felt. That is how I feel, that he's being taken advantage of here. The problem is, no matter what the man does, people are going to criticize. But all that matters, Gail, and you know this, is what those 12 people in the courtroom think in some 3 or 4 weeks from now.
All right.
All right, Steve Greenberg, thank you very much.
Steve.
We appreciate getting up with us.
Damn, he got some ears on him. Look at that. Y'all see how they got R. Kelly with them big ears in that courtroom drawing? Shit. He can fly off. I believe I can fly. Ooh. So she wanted Steve's approval for how she did so she could feel like she did a great job. Y'all excuse me for a second. Hold on. I'm congested. So you guys saw the video yourself, and Greenberg broke it down that this is not you cannot charge someone because you don't like them or they said something ugly to you. That's not a crime. Being an asshole is not a crime. If it were, 200 million people would be in jail by now, probably sitting on death row. You all have worked with people who are assholes. And I don't know so much about R. Kelly because I have not seen I know a few things about him. Of course, like Aaliyah, I'm aware of his marriage to her. They're actually using that in the case. And remember, Aaliyah is dead. Y'all know that just this past Friday, Spotify has started to stream all of Aaliyah's hits too. Did y'all know that? So they got Aaliyah's catalog available on Spotify, but remember they took R. Kelly stuff off. I don't think that's a coincidence that the week that the trial starts, that Aaliyah's music is available. I don't think that's a coincidence. That's me. That you can start streaming her music. Remember, it's the 20th anniversary. Aaliyah actually died, I believe, this month. I remember, around this time. Actually, it would have been this week. Aaliyah died in that plane crash. Only at the age of 22. She was the 10th most successful female R&B artist according to Billboard, and the 27th most successful in history. Now they're using the marriage to R. Kelly in this case. Now, I remember and look, even with R. Kelly marrying Aaliyah, 20 years this Wednesday, Jaleel, you're right. I don't see how they're using it in the case basically to build a RICO charge on him, saying that he has this criminal enterprise with girls, and it's using Aaliyah as proof because they were married and that was public record. Everybody, here's my thing. Why are we going after this now when we didn't have the chance to do it in 94? When Kurt Holder of MTV broke the news that Aaliyah was married to R. Kelly, there was very little reaction to it, to my knowledge. Now, I was 8 years old. Obviously, I didn't know such things. I knew of R. Kelly. I didn't see all of his movies. Of course, if you were living under a rock and you weren't listening to Q93 or it was usually Q93, which had the latest hip hop music and R&B. Q93 did all hip hop, but they had some R&B linked in with that. Then you did listen to R. Kelly, or if you saw BET videos, R. Kelly was on that when he had the bald head and stuff that he was rocking. So we all knew about it. We didn't say anything about it then. Her parents refused to be involved in it. I know Dame Dash has spoken out against R. Kelly because he was engaged to Aaliyah. But they all knew this shit and didn't say anything. They had an opportunity, if all this stuff was going on, to stop it. Why didn't we say anything then? Why didn't they say anything then? Exactly, Jaleel. 30 years later, and we're talking about this bullshit. I don't get it. And then remember when they had Dream, like I told Harvey and Sean when they were on this Thursday, how did this 18-year-old, this 14-year-old or 16, whatever she was underage, get in the courthouse? Well, she lied. And she's admitted she's lied on the stand too, that she lied about her age with him. Well, it could hurt her credibility, possibly, depending on the jury. But it also, if you're a juror, and I'm sure they asked these questions during voir dire, did you watch Surviving R. Kelly? How did it make you feel? See, all of that stuff comes up. He's not going to get a really a fair trial. And I know people could give a shit if he does get a fair trial because it's R. Kelly. He's accused of doing the most heinous. And I have lawyer friends of mine. Oh, excuse me. Okay, Monica Bob. Oh, sorry, guys. Hold on. Yeah. Sorry, I had an uninvited guest. Silence is golden. Silence can be acceptance. But yeah, I think that a lot of these I think some of these parents, I think personally that people are okay with their children going to see R. Kelly. Some of them have admitted that they were. Yeah, I believe that was going on. But like I was saying earlier, I have attorney friends of mine, people who are sworn to uphold the Constitution, that they're okay with lynch mobs. They co-signed all of this. They put their emotions ahead of critical thinking, and whenever you put your emotions ahead of your thinking straight, it will affect your judgment. And most of the time, it's not in a good way. I'm just spitting truth. Now, we'll see and monitor what happens with that. I'm getting congested, guys, so I'm not going to be on here much longer. I'm going to wrap it up in a little bit. But I did want to ask you all, if you all, so what else was going on? There's this show on BET called the BET Plus called the Miss Pat TV show, and the Miss Pat show. Miss Pat is a comedian, so I know she's like 49 years old. No, excuse me. I'm looking at her Wikipedia page. So she actually has a Wikipedia page, and she's been a guest on a Joe Rogan show. She got 8 kids. Oh, damn. So she has her podcast. I haven't seen her before or anything, but she has this BET Plus show. And supposedly this TV show that she has is basically a black version. She calls it the black version of Roseanne. Now, I haven't watched it, but Nicole and a few other people have commented. Yeah, she has 8 kids. Look at her. I'm not lying. Look at her Wikipedia page. It's right here. Eight kids. She was a caseworker, started doing stand-up in Atlanta in 2002. She moved to Indianapolis with her husband, where she improved her comedic skills at Monty's, a well-known comic store, well-known comedy club. So this show was dropped by Fox and Hulu. And Debbie Allen directed the first episode, the pilot. But I think a lot of people were taken aback by, I'll play the clip if I can get it. But she holds no punches in it. And of course, it's on BET Plus, which means it's uncensored. So they get to say whatever they want to say on live stream because it's not covered under FCC regulations. So Nicole, shout out to Nicole too, because I know her husband is still in the hospital fighting. So I'm looking out for her. She says she's doing okay. But this is what I saw here. Yeah. So stream it or skip it. the Miss Pat show on BET Plus, which is kind of like if Roseanne were uncensored. I gotta see if he said stream it, but this is the clip. Hold on, I don't want to get a copyright strike, but I'm, Fair Use Act of 1976. This is what they were. Nicole and a few others didn't like, and what came about. Debbie Allen, Kim Fields has directed a few episodes too. But yeah, I've heard stuff about Debbie. Debbie spoke a little bit ill about Cosby, from my understanding, from what Harvey talked about. I didn't see it, but like I said, a lot of these Negroes are gonna get their like Harvey said, they're gonna get their wake up call. So hold on, let me play this.
So if that's it, can y'all just get out? Please.
I'm not one of your little friends, okay? I would kill your ass and still claim you on my taxes. So I guess you think sex is what you see on Pornhub, huh? Bleach booty holes and shit. Well, it's not. When I was your age, I already had a child and another one in the oven. So don't try to tell me I don't know what it is out here, baby, because I was born out here.
All right. Hey, son, apologize to your mother, huh?
No, fuck him, Terry.
So if that's
So
it.
this is just like the Upshaws, essentially. What I've watched, that I couldn't even watch that. I didn't think it was all that funny with some of the stuff they did. I like Mike Epps, but I wasn't into it. But your boy, I got to check out Sean's video because he did a live stream on it. But this is the stuff that they're putting out. And look, I don't know Miss Pat. I have nothing against her personally. So I don't want to look like, I don't want it to look like I'm speaking ill against her. Let me see if I could let's go to this, stream it or skip it. I just want to see what they have to say about it. I don't know personally, and as an attorney, as a comedian, someone has been, as an attorney, excuse me. That lets you know I got a lot going on when I'm speaking about the wrong stuff. That's the trailer.
What's up, y'all? I'm Miss Pat, and I just moved to Plainfield, Indiana, where the corn is high and the black population is me and my damn family.
We are the Schaefers.
And we're the Carsons, the Ford, and the James.
You really think they would have killed him if he wasn't white?
You do realize black folks don't have to play the lottery no more. You just wait till the police shoot your child, and you might get a $4 million check.
And then they tax the shit.
We moved here because of my husband's job.
This is way better than Atlanta, right? They got dogs, there's tiki torches, and it's diverse.
Diverse?
There's all kinds of white people.
And it ain't just me and my husband. We got a house full of people that we want to kick the hell out. Like my mooching ass sister Denise. Them bitches quired me, sis. What the hell is quired? Fired me when I was about to quit. And I got 2 sets of kids. My Blue Cross Blue Shield set, that's Janelle. What did he say?
Girl, he just called you a single parent.
What make you think I'm a single parent?
Racism.
And Junebug.
Are you having sex?
You think I'm having sex?
Boy, calm your ass down and answer the question. My Medicaid set, that would be Ashley.
Oh,
You
Lord.
look good. You lost weight.
Me? Look at you, looking like yourself.
And Brandon.
What you do that for? I was just about to win a level of Call of Duty.
You need to call a job and duty your ass up out my house. We're not your normal TV family, and we're not trying to be.
Do you know the mess you put us through as kids? How we had to watch Lloyd beat you and then watch you fight every woman he cheated with?
You didn't have to watch. You could have helped the bitch out. But I can tell you one damn thing. We got a lot of love. The Miss Pat Show is a grown folk sitcom. Kiss my ass, Terry. But if you cuss at your kids like I do, them ugly motherfuckers watching with you too.
Okay. Only on BET Plus. I mean, look, it's not a surprise. BET Plus now. Her show was dropped from Fox and Hulu. And it's not a surprise that BT, of course, picks it up. BT, we know, is not owned by blacks. So am I shocked by this? No, I don't have anything personally against her, but I more than likely would not watch it. Just like the Upshaws. I tried watching some of the episodes, but it wasn't all that to me. Now, I'm looking at this, but the Decider.com says stream it. Look, if you have BET Plus, then this is why you subscribe. You waited for someone to finally show Roseanne from an uncensored black perspective. And here it is. Most pilotly line, I'm learning home is where your family is. Worth watching. Roman's Denise might be the character you keep your eye on at first, but if this sitcom is going to stick around, it'll depend entirely on how much you're rooting for Pat. Memorable dialogue. Okay, so I'm just seeing this. So there's a moment in the pilot that's symbolically and structurally a callback to the pilot of The Cosby Show. Bill Cosby, as Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable, told his son, I brought you in this world and I'll take you out. What does Miss Pat say to her son in his bedroom in the heat of the moment? I will kill your ass and still claim you on my taxes. Okay, so trying to compare it with the great Bill Cosby, what he did with Dr. Huxtable, with Theo, no way. I do not see that. And I get what this person's trying to say. Who is this Sean McCarthy? I have a good feeling. Hold on. Oh, just as I suspected. Just like my rice. White. White on rice. Yes, indeedy. All this praise for Miss Pat. Look, and the character Denise, he said Roman's Denise might be the character you keep your eyes on. There is also a bit, as they do in most of these shows, like even in the Upshaws, like even on Power, the Book of Canaan, too. Like on Empire, there is in these shows, and even the Punky Brewster show, and I heard that got canceled, thank goodness, just because it wasn't good. Punky Brewster revival. They have the agenda. And you know what that means when I say that. And this is in an episode of Even Miss Pat that I saw. So they really pushing it everywhere. The man looks beta. Yeah, I kind of get that knowledge because if I spoke to my parents like that, yet alone my mother, I mean, my mother could fend for herself, don't get me wrong, but my father, if he heard it, he would check me real quick. Same with my brother. If I disrespected my mother or my father, they would check me. And he would be there first. That's an alpha male. The dad looks like he's lays back and accepts stuff. So again, you understand why Bill Cosby, though, when you look at a show like Miss Pat, or you see stuff on Power with Raising Cain, and even in Power Book 2, they got that crap in there. Everything is a negative in some way, shape, or form. I know that everything is not perfect. We know that. That's life. Some stuff isn't real. I agree wholeheartedly. I did not, in the Cosby Show, one criticism, if I had any, was that you never saw in an episode of the Cosby Show where Theo had to deal with getting pulled over by the cops. And I thought that was something Bill Cosby could have explored. But, you know, he tried to show black people in a more, basically no different than any other race or group dealing with their families. Family is universal. And I understand that from his perspective, what he was trying to do. when he did not want Denise Huxtable to be pregnant in college, when he did A Different World and she married Lenny Kravitz and got pregnant with Zoe. He did not want Debbie Allen tried to write that in, thought it would be great. He said she can be pregnant, but not Denise Huxtable. Lisa may be pregnant, but not Denise. So they wrote her out of the show. He did not want that image, and it was about image. Yes, he had a fucked up personal life, if you want to say that, or he did stuff that, you could say he was a hypocrite, although I wouldn't say illegal. He was not a family image, but we didn't call him we called him America's dad. He never said, I'm America's dad. He didn't live up to being a godlike person. Yeah, he was critical of stuff, offered his opinion. Yes, he didn't like certain stand-up comedians using certain language in their routines, but you know something? He did a lot of great things for this community. I've talked about it countless times. And when you look at the stuff that they're putting on television, I can see his point now, more than ever. When I was a kid, it's like what my mom said once. When she would criticize me about doing something wrong, she says, you may not understand it now, but you'll understand it later when you get older and you have children. I can see what she's talking about now. I'm man enough to admit what my mother was saying. And I see what Dr. Cosby was talking about. No balance. I don't think we even have sitcoms anymore on television. That's why it's important, again, to own your own network. That's why he wanted to buy NBC. He's, supposedly, I don't know if he's still trying to buy NBC. His marriage is his marriage. Yes, absolutely. But when you're a public figure, unfortunately, your marriage is public to everybody. But they try to maintain some privacy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sneezing. I'm about to end this live stream in a minute because I don't like appearing on here like this. I'm sorry. But before I go, as it relates to this, and it relates to happening to me with YouTube, I received an email earlier this week. Thank you, Computer Robots. I appreciate it. Thank you for being a Patreon subscriber as well. Guys, again, if you want to subscribe to the Patreon and donate, you could go through there. You can also, if you would like to give money to the Super Chat, that's fine. But I have something to say about YouTube and censorship. I recently received an email earlier this week after I did my live stream with Sean and Harvey. I got an email on Friday stating that my channel does not fit the description for the YouTube Partners program. And as a result, my channel has now been demonetized. So after a whole 3 years or better, I've been on YouTube since 2006, and I have had videos dropped before previously in 2009 and 2010, but I didn't put out videos like I was doing recently while we were home from COVID, and as well as doing videos from 2018 when I had stuff drop here. But I working all that time hard to build this channel up, just getting over 1,000 subscribers, and YouTube does this bullshit to me. I wear it as a badge of honor. I wear it as a badge of honor because it tells me that I'm obviously doing something good. When they try to censor you, that means you're reaching people. I'm reaching people. I'm telling it like it is. And you guys, I appreciate your support. You guys have followed me. You guys that have been there from the beginning. I can't thank you enough. So there's a reason why I asked you to contribute, because this is a way I anybody can make a living. Well, and it's hard. It's a hard thing to make a living right now these days with COVID. But I come on here and I fought hard because I try to provide, for myself and my family as well. And I like to do my live stream. I like to have this channel. Of course, I wanted this channel monetized so that I can have other means of revenue. Like anybody would like to have more money come in. And I'm not doing this to beg you guys for anything, but I do ask you because when I spend hours and times, the hours that I put in to make a video or to do a live stream, it's real. When I go up on stage, when you do comedy, there's no money in comedy. Like Dick Gregory used to tell me, like, why you want to make money in comedy? It's not there. You want to be a writer, that's one thing. You make money in that, but you don't make money in comedy. The people who make the money are the ones who you see are in the arenas, supposedly, or in the clubs, headlining. Those that are on television, truthfulness, they get stuff. YouTube, yeah, YouTube are a bunch of scumbags. And cowardly to send it in the middle of the night, thinking I wouldn't catch it. But I worked long and hard to build this channel up. And this is more reason, ladies and gentlemen, why we need different new networks, why we need to move away from YouTube, away from social media in general, because when you have these scumbags running these channels, telling me why my platform doesn't fit their partner program, and not even explaining what I did wrong, what was wrong in what I said. Yet you can show borderline pornography. You can show borderline porn on YouTube with these kids shaking their asses half naked, doing stupid little TikTok challenges, performing, doing fake sex acts and all of this other crap. That's what you guys promote and put on here. Well, you know what? I'm trying to mince my word. I'm trying to be careful in what I'm saying because I don't want to stoop to a low level. But y'all can kiss my black ass. There, I said that's good enough for me. And get a flashlight if you're gonna find the darkest part. YouTube. Now my channel may not be here in the morning, but I'm gonna switch. I want everybody to go to the Patreon right now, if you can, if you want to check out the link and subscribe to the Patreon, because I'm going to start moving my videos over there more. I'm going to start doing stuff on Vimeo. And like I said before, I'm looking at starting a network. That's the goal. I want to start a network. I want a black network on television that shows not only some of our old sitcoms, but black news information that's fair, that's not impartial, but balanced. We want also black weathermen. We want new black sitcoms that show and promote a black heterosexual family, that promote black men as alphas, men who actually love their wives, loves their children, and actually are active in their community. They actually are figures that kids look up to, things like that. That's what I want to see. We had TV shows like that back in the day, and where have they gone? A show called it was a TV show Avery Brooks was in called A Man Called Hawk back in 1989. I was 3 years old, so I didn't know anything about it, but I actually saw some of the reruns that came on TV1. That show only lasted one season. And this was a brother who was a private investigator in Washington, D.C. He worked with Spencer for Hire. That's why they did the Netflix movie Spencer and Hawk with Mark Wahlberg. And the brother that was in Us. and Black Panther. I'm sorry, his name escapes me. But I want to create, I have to get off now because I'm congested and I don't want you guys looking at my snot and all of this stuff. But we're going to do that. But I want to know who's going to support me because talk is cheap. We're going to do it. We're looking into it. We're sick of these minstrel shows. They can keep them. And if they got a problem with it, they can shove it up there. You know what's. All right. But that's all I got to say, guys. Again, y'all join the Patreon. Y'all can advertise with me. If you like to advertise, gavin.grich1@gmail.com. If you like to go to the Patreon and subscribe there, I'm going to be uploading a couple of videos on there. Probably later, a video or two later tonight. You guys can check out if you want. Also, if you would like to check out my seasoning company, NaughtysCreoleBlends.com, NaughtysCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Naughty's goes great with every dish. That's our saying. But to hell with YouTube with this crap. I'm sick of it. Winston Duke is the brother's name. That's correct. But I will be back here Tuesday. I may not do. I'll see if I can do a live stream Thursday. But I might be going back out on the road and stuff. But you're welcome, butterflies. The Patreon page is the same as the YouTube channel. It's gboot2786. Look at the link below, Tirade. If you'd like to donate to the Cash App or the PayPal, I would appreciate it as well. But I understand things are tough. Some people, we're all getting back to work and may not have money. But of course, I got a new song that's going to be debuting called Video Soul. I'll just tell you that much. I'm actually hoping to release it very soon this week. But in the meantime, guys, we're not going to end this on a sad note. We're going to end it on a high note because we're going to get on up. We're down, but we're going to get on up. So let me get on out of here, guys. I will see y'all in. So take it easy. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'll holla. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat. Cause on the dance floor is where we're moving. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the body hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up, baby. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Screw tube. Oh God, I think my nose needs a nostrils need a tampon. Damn. Oh wait, I'm still live. All right. Sorry. Good night, guys. Hey, Black Mama. Talk to you later, dear. I'll leave on that comment, Rosalind. Thank you. That's picture perfect.